Okay, so before we dive into this book, there are a few things you need to know because there is a lot of context that goes into Psi War. Because Scott Lordell is actually building off what happened at the very beginning in the New 52 back in Action Comics when Grant Morrison was the one writing those books. So with that being said, we actually see that back in the beginning of the New 52, Grant Morrison told us a story about how Brainiac attacked Earth. Now, when he attacked Earth, of course, he attacked Metropolis. Now, back then, at the very beginning of the New 52, it was kind of like Grant Morrison telling us that Brainiac is just basically a collector. He's going around collecting different pieces of planets for his collection, and that was really it. But over the last couple videos we have done for New 52 Superman, we have learned a lot more. That back on the home world of Brainiac, what happened was a lot of his people died. And when they had died, he had uploaded their minds into his computer system. And the reason why he was going around collecting different pieces of planets across the universe was to study the races of those planets, to see if each race could possibly be a great vessel for those minds that have been uploaded into his computer system. Now, when he attacked Earth, he attacked Metropolis. But when he attacked Metropolis, he picked 20 people. And the 20 people had basically gained psychic abilities. Now, of course, that led into more problems for Metropolis because those 20 people went missing. And we saw Lois Lane back in our first prelude to Psi War going around and kind of figuring out what happened to those 20 people. But unfortunately, she was unable to figure out what had happened to them. And so with that being said, Superman had now got involved because one of those 20 had became known as the Hive Queen. And she had made a new organization known as the Hive. And she was going around collecting 20 people who were all affected by Brainiac, but also collecting other people that have been affected with psychic abilities to build up the Hive organization, to hand them over to Brainiac. Now, with that being said, she was stalked by Hector Hammond, and that led into what we have today, which is called the Psi War. Those two characters, the Hive Queen and also Hector Hammond, are going against each other to battle for the city of Metropolis. Because again, Brainiac is going to come back to see if the 20 people have evolved greatly enough so that he can download the minds of his people into the bodies of the 20. That is all the context you need right there. The rest I will explain as we go through this crazy storyline because it is only 3 parts and that is it. Now, to begin Psi War, we actually pick up 4 years ago, which means 1 year after Brainiac had attacked the Earth. Now, we pick up with a new character, and this new character is going to be Psycho Pirate. Now, I do want to mention, in the New 52, this was his first appearance in New 52 comics. Now, we already saw him in our Superboy videos that we do with Teen Titans videos. And matter of fact, the last video we did for Superboy are tie-ins to this storyline right here, which honestly makes no sense for me because, well, you know what? No. That'd be a whole new rant right there. But either way, we do see Psycho Pirate getting the Medusa mask to give him more powers to fight against the Hive organization. Now, we do jump back over to the present day, and we pick up with Superman fighting against the Hive Queen. Now, this right here is very important because the last time we saw the Hive Queen in our last video, she was trying to build up the Hive organization and going around collecting different people who have psychic abilities and also collecting people from the 20 as well who were affected by Brainiac. Now, with all of that being said, in our last video, well, she was stopped by Hector Hammond because when she tried to get him, and Hector was known as the most powerful psychic on the planet, when she tried to get him, he woke up from his coma and attacked her. And that battle led to her losing her base, the H.I.V.E organization base, and running to Metropolis. But when she got to Metropolis, well, she began the process of trying to build up a hive mind with all of the people in the city. Now, with that being said, that also includes Superman. Now, here comes a big problem for Superman, though. When it comes to Superman, he is usually known as somebody to punch his way out of situations. And this is a whole new battle for him because he can't punch the Hive Queen because she is messing with his mind, making him see things, making him do things, making him relive different things apart his life. And so right now is Superman realizing that he needs to find a way to actually defeat her. Now, DC was really trying to make this storyline some kind of big, huge storyline, even though, again, it only had 3 parts, but it also had 4 tie-ins, and all 4 tie-ins were just Superboy tie-ins. But either way, this is Superman realizing that he might lose this battle because there is no way he can actually hit something that he really can't hit. Okay, so now we get into the Lois Lane problem. And the reason why I say the Lois Lane problem is because when it comes to Lois Lane, in our last video, she was perfectly fine. In this video, she's right now in the hospital. Now, the reason why she's in the hospital is because what happened in Superman Annual number 2. And we actually covered that issue before covering the prelude to Psi War. Because when you buy the different volumes of New 52 Superman, Volume 4 gives you the annual first, where Lois Lane is going around investigating what happened to the 20, but then she gets injured at the end of that book. But when you read the actual prelude to Psi War, well, she is okay. She's perfectly fine, and that is it. But the annual tells us no. At the end of that story, she got injured, and right now, she is in the hospital. There you go. That is why she is there. Now, Lois Lane is going to play a big role down the road in this video, but I had to tell you that hot mess of a story that DC was trying to do with her character. But we do jump over to the Hive Queen fighting against Superman. Now, this fight is actually very important. And the reason why, because the only reason why the Hive Queen is here in Metropolis is to make a hive mind to fight against Hector Hammond, the person she had just lost to in our last video, to get her base back. But to get her base back, she's trying to build a hive mind to fight against him and then get the world ready for Brainiac to come back. Now, with that being said, Hector Hammond sees what she is doing. He remembers, okay, you lost your base to me, you lost the battle to me, and now you're trying to build a hive mind to fight against me? No. Let's end that right now. And so he goes out there to battle against the Hive Queen. Now, this battle is technically the Psi War. It's these two characters fighting against each other, while you have Superman kind of on the sideline. He really can't do much against these two characters. Now, after a while with them fighting against each other, you have Hector Hammond tell the Hive Queen that he is not even there, that his powers are so strong he was able to make some kind of avatar be there to fight against her. But in reality, homeboy is still at her base messing around with different things, and that right there makes the Hive Queen very angry, and so she flies off to hopefully get revenge against Hector Hammond. Now, once the Hive Queen leaves and Hector Hammond also leaves, of course that means Superman gets his mind back. Now, when he does, he realizes both characters are gone. He needs to find them and hopefully defeat them. But while flying there, he realized he has no idea how to stop them. They're on a whole new level. This is not a you can punch your way out of it. This is more of you need to think of an actual good plan, because if you don't, you could possibly fail. And so right now is Superman very worried. Now, when he gets to the base of the Hive organization, hoping to stop the Hive Queen and also stop Hector Hammond, well, that is the moment he finds out Hector has been defeated, but not by the Hive Queen. No, because the Hive Queen has also been defeated. The person who defeated both characters is Psycho Pirate. And we saw him at the very beginning of our video when he got the Medusa mask to give him more powers to fight against the Hive organization, to fight against the Hive Queen, to hopefully stop Brainiac. And right now is him saying, hey Superman, what's up? You gotta fight me now. And this is where we get into the actual Psi War. Now, when we jump into part 2 of this storyline, we actually pick up with Lois Lane once again. And the reason why, because you have her boyfriend watching over her, and he has seen some crazy things happen to Lois Lane, and he tells his concerns to the doctor. Now, to the doctor, he feels like the boyfriend of Lois Lane, whose name escapes me, and honestly, I feel like he's not that even important. He tells him, go home, get some sleep, because you have been up here so long and haven't slept well, you probably have just been seeing things. But that is the moment Lois Lane just disappears. Now, getting back over to Superman, who just met Psycho Pirate, you have Psycho Pirate basically telling Superman what his plan is. That apparently he is one of the 20. Now, with him being one of the 20, that means he was captured by the Hive Queen. And he was captured by her right after the attack by Brainiac, because again, Brainiac did select 20 people and he was one of the 20. Now, with him being one of the 20, that means Hive captured him and was trying to get him ready to hand over to Brainiac, but he had escaped. And when he had escaped, he had found the Medusa mask, which of course made him the Psycho Pirate. And with him being the Psycho Pirate with the Medusa mask, that means he is more powerful than Hector Hammond in the Hive Queen. Now, the Hive Queen was a problem. Hector Hammond was a bigger problem. And now you're saying that Psycho Pirate is even a bigger problem than Hector Hammond. Now, with all those things being told to us, you have him saying, listen, I'm trying to help you, Superman, bring down Hive, stop Brainiac, do all these different things. And so, of course, he wants to show Superman something very important. And so he takes him into the room next door and he shows him the Swarm. Now, the Swarm is really everyone that has been captured by the Hive Queen over the years. That includes regular day psychic people before Brainiac attack and also the 20 that were affected by Brainiac's attack. And they all have been kept in this room by the Hive Queen. That is why they're called the Swarm, because all of their psychic powers is being fed into her, but also getting them ready for the return of Brainiac. Because remember, at the end of our last video, she kept saying she's doing this for her father. She's getting everyone ready for her father. But at the end of that book, she told us her father is Brainiac, really. And so right now it's her just getting everyone ready for Brainiac. But then you have Psycho Pirate tell Superman that yes, he was one of the 20. He was one of the early ones to be captured. But he broke free, he found the mask, he came back here to stop the Hive Queen and to also stop Hector Hammond. Now, he does tell Superman he does plan to stop Brainiac as well. But there is one more thing he needs to do, which is to feed off the psychic abilities of Superman. Now, this is not truly explained to us in this book at all, but it's really him trying to say, I need your psychic abilities, Superman, to help the people who are still trapped inside the Swarm. And that begins a mind battle for Superman and Psycho Pirate. Now, when it comes to the mind games that Psycho Pirate plays in the mind of Superman, we actually pick up with Psycho Pirate bringing up the first time Superman arrived in Metropolis. Because when it came to the New 52, the New 52 was more built on the idea of saying, hey, listen, the public is more afraid of the heroes rather than looking up to the heroes for guidance. And so with that being said, when Superman first appeared, the people were really scared of him. The military were attacking him. And so that is Psycho Pirate using those fears of Superman, of being hated on by the public for who he was, even though he was trying to help them and to protect Metropolis. Now, Psycho Pirate realized that he needs to dig deeper if he wants to be able to drain the psychic energy from Superman, which means that he needs to bring up an even harder memory for Superman. You then have Psycho Pirate bring up the memory of Lana Lang. Now, Lana Lang being here is very huge, because that was the high school girlfriend, the one who kind of understood everything about Clark Kent, gave him someone else to talk to besides his parents. Now, right after he missed his chance to get this kiss and this memory, well, that is the moment you have Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent appear. Now, I do want to mention, in the New 52, these two characters were not around. They had died on the prom night of Superman. And so with that happening, he had no parents after prom night. And so when he moved to Metropolis, he had no one to go back to and talk to. And so with that being said, with them being here, it's kind of hard on him. And then you have Psycho Pirate make the people in this memory pretend to hate him, even though we know that Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent love Clark Kent. But in this mind world, no, they hate him. They want him gone. They wish they never found him. Lana Lang begins to say evil things towards him too. And this just bringing down Superman more and more. Now, the last memory you have Psycho Pirate use is, of course, when Superman was a baby and about to be sent off to Earth from Krypton. And this is a very huge memory. And the reason why, because for Superman, he never got the chance to really learn about Jor-El and his mother back on Krypton. He never got that chance because he was a baby and bam, you're on Earth now. Sorry, kid, your home world is gone. And so he always felt like he was left behind. He always felt like he did not truly belong on Earth, because all those feelings came back to the idea that he left Krypton, and he left Krypton to come here to Earth. And he didn't leave like he wanted to. He left because he was forced to leave. And that right there is huge. But here comes the big problem though, because you do see Psycho Pirate being able to get full control of Superman. So now you're talking about someone known as Psycho Pirate having the most powerful being on the planet on his side to do anything he wants this person to do for him. But that is when Psycho Pirate is attacked, and he's attacked by someone who we really did not see coming. But I guess this is DC saying, no, we gave you hints that she was going to save the day. And that person is Lois Lane. Because out of nowhere, she now has psychic powers. Yep. Lois Lane got psychic powers. And she is going to fight against Psycho Pirate. Now, if you're wondering, how in the world did Lois Lane get powers? Well, that took place again in Superman Annual number 2, one of the many preludes to this storyline right here. Because remember what I said, she was injured, but she got injured by one of the 20, because one of the 20, Senator Hume, he was also one of the 20, and he had blasted her with a psychic blast. And when she got blasted, apparently it gave her powers. Yep. That's how it works. Now also it gets even crazier. Apparently she's actually a challenge for Psycho Pirate, which is very huge to say when Hector Hammond, who was supposed to be the most powerful psychic on the planet, easily lost to Psycho Pirate. And the Hive Queen is also a powerful psychic, but she also lost to Psycho Pirate. But Lois Lane, somebody who was just barely blasted by one of the 20, just knows how to do all these different psychic powers and blah blah blah. She gave Psycho Pirate a challenge. Now she still lost, but she barely lost the battle. But of course, after she lost the battle, she realized she's gonna need some help. So what she does, she goes over and be able to get Superman to wake up from his weird mind sleep. And of course, he realized that Psycho Pirate is on a totally different level, which means they need help fast if they're going to actually be able to stop Psycho Pirate. And that is the moment you have Hector Hammond get up. Nope, he's not dead, he's alive. I've been saying he's only been defeated, not killed by Psycho Pirate. So he gets back up like, hey, you need my help? I'm going to help you. Let's work together to actually stop Psycho Pirate because we need to stop him here and now. But then the Hive Queen appears. Now, the Hive Queen, I have been saying she has been defeated. But if you read the book, it does seem like the Hive Queen was killed by Psycho Pirate. But no. She is alive and well, and here she is. And so you're going to have the Hive Queen, Psycho Pirate, and also Superman and Lois Lane working together to stop Psycho Pirate before he's able to win Metropolis. Now, the battle does get intense because you do have Superman, Hector Hammond, Lois Lane, and the Hive Queen work all together to stop the Psycho Pirate. And this battle does go on for a few pages, but of course, I want to wrap up this storyline so we can move on to Krypton Returns. But anyways though, that is the moment you have Superman and the rest of the gang being able to actually get the mask off the face of Psycho Pirate. Because remember, the mask was the only way Psycho Pirate was becoming more powerful than Hector Hammond and the Hive Queen. But with the mask on now, he's basically back to his basic level. Now, with him being on his basic level, well, that is the moment we see the mask is calling out to Superman. And with the mask calling out to Superman, he begins to put the mask on. Well, he's about to. But then you have Lois Lane, the woman he really loves, actually tries to talk to him. Now, right when he's about to put the mask on, Lois Lane is able to talk him out of it. But at the same time, she does use a lot of her psychic energy to fight against the calling of the mask, to help Clark Kent fight against the calling of the mask. And with that happening, there is a huge shockwave, and he is able to actually put the mask down. Now, with that happening though, of course, here comes the big problem though. Lois Lane was badly injured from the feedback of the blast. And so of course, that means possibly she could lose her powers, which she does. And then also on top of that, she has to go back into the hospital. Now, to wrap up this storyline and wrap up this crossover event, not really a crossover event, it was more a Superman small event, and Superboy was part of it, but not really because none of his books actually did anything for this storyline. But either way though, to go ahead and wrap this book up, you do have Superman being able to take Lois Lane back over to the hospital. Now, when he does that, of course, he flies away. Now, when he flies away, something begins to grab him. This something begins to pull him towards something. And of course, this is going to lead us into the lovely, and I say lovely very loosely, Krypton Returns crossover event. Supergirl, Superman, and Superboy have another crossover in the New 52 that we're gonna cover, and I hope it's not as bad as Hell on Earth. but it probably is. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please hit the like button down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed this crazy Superman Psi War storyline. Later, guys.